Welcome, Greek U Nation, to episode number 657 of the Fraternity Foodie Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Mike Eilon, CEO of Greek University. I'm a speaker and an author. Our ninth book just came out. It's called From Letters to Leaders, The Legacy of Service. So I want you to go and pick up that book on Amazon today. We call these episodes the Fraternity Foodie Podcast because there is nothing like great food to bring college students together. Fun fact, sometimes we have so much fun with a particular guest, we have to invite them back because they were so good the first time, and our listeners are asking for more. And that's exactly what happened with our next guests. So we're going to go one by one. The first one is Evelyn Kelly, Ph.D. She is based in Florida, an accomplished writer, speaker, and educator with a deep passion for exploration and learning. She holds a Ph.D. from the University of Florida, a master's degree, a Bachelor of Arts from the University of Tennessee. Go Tennessee Vols. And she also studies spanned microbiology, English, and history with 22 published books to her name, including works on stem cells and a comprehensive two-volume encyclopedia of genetics. Evelyn has taught at 4 universities. Unbelievable. And of course, her daughter, Natalie Kelly, resides in Tallahassee, Florida, where she serves as a chief executive officer of a state organization, a seasoned writer, a public speaker. She earned both her MS in communications and her bachelor's degree in visual arts and communications from the Florida State University. Over her 35-year career, Natalie has held prominent leadership roles, including being the youngest female staff director in the Florida Senate and a director in Washington, D.C. She also runs her own public relations and lobbying firm. So welcome back to the show, Evelyn and Natalie.
Hey, we're so happy to be here.
Thank you so much. We enjoy this show so much.
Hey, listen, you're welcome back anytime. I know you guys have a new book out there. I can't wait to talk about that. But here's the thing for the students who may not have heard the last episode, I know they're in the minority. There's probably only 2 people in the whole world that haven't seen it. But for those 2, can you share the story of how a mother-daughter duo ended up traveling the world together?
Well, it's kind of interesting. This started back in 1992, before all of these were born, that your listeners were born. But I ran for office. It was a local office. I also had a rec at the same time and lost by a few votes. But we still said, even though we are kind of down, my husband said, well, why don't you and Natalie go to Europe? And he said, I'll take care of the dogs. So that is what happened. We started off on our trips, and from then on, the bug bit us, and we've traveled every day.
Every
year, not every day, almost every day, too. So that is the way we started.
And we've been traveling every year except for 1 year. And I bet you can tell me which year that was.
2020.
Yes, that's correct.
You see, I knew it. I knew it. I didn't even know for sure, but that is the year when people stopped traveling
Right.
for obvious reasons. Who would have thought that we would have lived through a pandemic of all things?
Yes. And survive.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And we survived. We're still here. So that's good. And Evelyn, I mean, you've seen a lot of things. You're 91 years old. You're still traveling the world with the goal of reaching 100 countries by the age of 100. We're going to have a birthday cake for you when you
Oh,
reach
please.
100 countries.
He'll come back every year and tell us that.
But Evelyn, what keeps you so motivated and so adventurous?
I've always been an information junkie. I am very curious. I can hardly wait to get up in the morning and find something to learn. And then
Wow,
so
look at
I'm
that.
just enjoy learning, and that is what motivates me and keeps me going. And traveling does that
And
because,
keeps you young.
yeah,
And keeps you young.
we can think about the places that we've been. Maybe I'll read a book and I've been to that place.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
whether it's the Amalfi Coast or one of these places, so that just keeps me going.
I love it. I love that you're a lifelong learner. I think that's absolutely fantastic. And my dad was just like you, wanted to go to like the most far out off places that nobody's been to. My dad is the type of guy that goes to Easter Island. Who the heck goes to
Okay.
Easter Island? Well,
I
my
want
dad
to
did.
so bad. We haven't been yet, but we are planning on it.
Yeah, I mean, if you get there, I think it's fantastic. My dad absolutely loves it, and he wrote, a whole book about some of the far off places that he's visited, and he gets to places that nobody gets to. He gets to like Madagascar and like all of
Uh-huh.
these, wild places, and the stories that he's able to tell because he's actually been to these places. Not that he read about it, but he's actually walked the whole place, and it just has fascinating stories to tell. So
Did
I'm
he ever
sure.
go to the salt flats of Bolivia?
I don't know if he ever been to the Salt Flats. I'm gonna have to read his book and get back to you. I'm not
Okay,
sure.
you're going to read his book.
I'm gonna go back and read it to see if I see any entries about that. It's gonna be interesting to me. So, all right. So here's the thing. The college students who are listening, you know that many of them, we don't have a lot of money when we're a college student. We're kind of broke, okay? So in your experience, how can the college students who are listening right now, how can they realistically plan an unforgettable trip when they have a very tight budget?
Actually, that's very simple because there's several ways of doing it. Number one, you don't need to go to Timbuktu or even Paris or anything like that. Just look at your area. So look at your city and just draw a circle around it. Maybe maybe at 2 hours away. And just start there. Start looking because you would be amazed of how many interesting places and things to see right around your area that you don't even know about, or you just are not interested because you're so interested in taking off and doing something different. There are so many different places right around you. So that's what we start. When people ask me, like, I don't have any money, what can I do? Well, I tell them start local. Start right around maybe 2 or 3 hours around your city. But there's other ways of doing it. So let's say they want to travel, they want to go somewhere for spring break.
Mhm.
There's several ways of doing it. First of all, determine your destination. If you want to go to beach, which most college students like to go, I remember I used to do that too. But why not take and go to some places around that beach? A great example, Pensacola. A lot of people like to go to Pensacola Beach. Well, there's a fort there called Fort Pickens, which is so interesting because it was a Union. It was a Union place where they would imprison the Confederate Army that they would capture. Or if you go to Key West, go to Fort Jefferson, which is it's the only state park. It's like the state park is it's the least visited state park
National,
no, excuse me,
national park,
national
national
park
park.
of all, and it's real interesting. So those are the type of places you can go. However, go with friends. Drive there. You can drive there, split the cost with friends, take a cooler, bring your own drinks, because that's what drives up the cost is, buying drinks from places. Bring your own drinks, bring your own food. And another thing that we like to do on a budget, because we actually travel on a budget, but what we like to do is we like to go to local restaurants. Because if you go to the chain restaurants, you know what you're eating and you're familiar with it, but it's expensive. Go to the local ones with the local taste and the local cuisine. You'll remember that a lot more than you would remember if you just went to a chain restaurant. So those are the types of things you can do on a budget.
Those are great tips. I really like that a lot. And a lot of the college students, when they go on spring break and they're ready to go right now, they go to places like Panama City Beach and Daytona Beach. Some of these places are just very popular over the last couple of decades, depending on what's in style, this year. But your new book actually encourages students to swap out that crowded beach vacation during spring break for a national park. So, why do you believe that national parks are such powerful travel experiences?
For example, where you are in Nashville,
Mhm.
go to the Smoky Mountains.
Yeah.
You can get in. You don't. It
Doesn't
is
cost anything.
one of the national parks that has no entry fee whatsoever.
Mhm.
And you can go and you can experience hiking or kayaking, or they have lakes and they have hills and they have mountains, they
Just
have mountains,
incredible
they
beauty.
have anything that you would want. And it is an experience. And what I know from my work with Gen Zers is they want things that are authentic. And going to some of the places in Florida, they are not authentic and very expensive. I
Yeah.
guess you
Right.
know what I'm talking about.
But then
Yes.
there's these beautiful places where you can go for free. It just takes a little bit of research. That's what it does. But you're seeing a lot of things, especially on social media now, where, you can see, they're starting to come out, especially now since the United States is turning 250 this year.
Mhm.
You're starting to see a lot of things being pushed out there where you can go visit lots of different paths to hike. I'm telling you, it's going to be more memorable for somebody to have a group of friends to hike with, to go and to be in our tents or sleeping bags and to be around a campfire than it is to go to a big theme park. I'm telling you, it is such an experience and something you'll never forget.
Michael, have you ever been down the Natchez Trail?
Yes, of course. That's
Okay,
just incredible.
444 miles
Yeah.
of fascinating, anything that you want, from history to la to canyons, to all kinds of
Mhm.
landforms and so forth.
Yeah, that Natchez Trail, I mean, that's incredible. I have friends that are actually doing it in different segments. So they'll
Uh,
do like each weekend, they'll go back and do a little bit more. And their goal is to do the trail from start to finish. And they're documenting the whole thing, taking photos. They're kind of writing in a journal to talk about what happened to them each weekend. So it's really fascinating to kind of watch that. And some of the parks you recommend, Zion National Park, Joshua Tree National Park, of course, the Great Smoky Mountains National Park, even the Grand Canyon National Park, which I just visited about 6 months ago with my family. It was absolutely fantastic. What makes each of these national parks special for these Gen Z travelers?
Well, each one is different.
Yeah.
For example, Zion is so different because it's just an incredible park to be able to hike. You can actually even go by yourself because I did. I don't always recommend hiking by yourself because it's
Mhm.
always good to have somebody, but there's a lot of people there, but it's just so beautiful. And not only do you hike around these beautiful red rocks, you actually hike through water, through the streams. You're walking through the streams to get to the next destination. I mean, that to me, it was just very memorable.
Mhm.
Michael, what I would like to say is that, for students, they will not remember what that horrible exam that they have to take next Tuesday. They will not remember that,
No.
but they will remember standing on the rim of the Grand Canyon.
Oh, yes. Yeah. 100% agree with that. And I said the same thing to my kids. I said, you're going to remember this for the rest of your life. You were staring out into the Grand Canyon. I mean, nothing but the abyss and this huge hole in the ground. But it really does put life into perspective, right? I mean, it's so enormous and it's just something you'll remember for the rest of your life. No doubt about it. And these college students, you talked about exams. They're under enormous pressure to do well in college because they know if they don't do well, then maybe they're not going to end up with a job. So, how do you think that travel actually helps the students to reset mentally and emotionally?
I think it gets them out of their comfort zone, uh, or their stress zone, and it releases stress. When you go to these places where there is just so much beauty, or so many things that you would like to do, like you would like to hike or kayak, or ride in a round boat or something like that. That was in Vietnam.
Yeah.
You would ride in a round boat.
Yeah.
But something that is different, it gets you away from the old pressures. And when you get back, they're there, but somehow they're not as impending. So,
Mhm.
uh,
Mhm.
And when they come back, their thoughts will be clear. You'll be more relaxed. You'll be calmer, and that's exactly what you need.
Yeah, I totally agree there. Now, you mentioned bringing your own water and bringing your own food. I think those are really, really good suggestions, but I'm looking at the cost for hotels around the country. I mean, some of these hotels are really, really expensive. So
Mhm.
for a college student, that might put the trip kind of out of budget. Do you have any tips for maybe like car camping,
Yes.
to keep the cost low?
Yes, there's, you can go and you can actually go to your either state park or national park. They have lodges there. They're
Hmm.
very, um, really economically sound. I mean, it's very low price. You could stay there. And again, that's kind of what I said at the very beginning. You'll never forget going camping there around the campfire, staying in a tent, sleeping in a sleeping bag. This is something you don't do every day.
And
You
Right.
don't
worry
do
about
that.
whether there's a bear outside or something like that.
Well, that may happen.
Well, some of those national parks, that might happen, but let's hope
Yes,
there's no bears.
just bring your bear repellent.
That's it. That's it. Now, I mean, after traveling to 89 countries, right, you've said that there's no place quite like the United States. And that kind of brings us to the new book. What makes America so unique to explore?
It is so it is so wonderful. Is that my phone?
Yes, it is.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I forgive you. It's all right.
Okay. Uh, what makes it so wonderful is that you mentioned any of the things that are really great, like Switzerland has its mountains.
Hmm.
Yes,
We have our mountains.
Yes,
The Amalfi Coast has its beaches.
sure.
We
we
have
have our
beaches.
beaches.
We have anything. We have history. We have culture. We have anything that you can look for in any other country.
Deserts, glaciers, it doesn't matter. We have it right here in the United States. But I'll tell you, one of the things that I will never forget about traveling the world is when I went to Russia. And I got to see the life that those individuals led. This was right after the wall fell.
Mm.
And I will say this, every time I go to a football game, especially a college football game, and they play the national anthem, I will always sing that national anthem because it has made me so proud because I've seen the world and I've seen how other people live. We're hearing a lot about Iran right now,
Mhm.
and how especially women are treated there. But I know that every country, it doesn't matter, every country has its problems. But I will tell you, there is no country like the United States.
Mm, yeah, I agree with you completely. And, my wife and I have conversations like that too about how women are treated in other countries. And it's an issue, obviously, because if we're going to be traveling, we're going to be traveling together. And so, that's something that we think about. Safety, I think, is a really important thing. And you're
Mhm.
absolutely right. I mean, you can travel all over the United States and feel 100% safe no matter where you go. And so
Mhm.
that's a really nice thing. And you're right, the variety that we have in the United States, whether it be the mountains or the oceans or everything in between, there's just so much variety that you can see. Temperature, even, right? From the north to the south. There's so much variety in there. When you go and you travel in other countries, let's say Europe and things like that, beautiful places. I mean, nobody's going to say no to a trip in Europe, but
Yeah,
a lot of it is very similar in terms of geography and temperature and things like that, where you have wild swings in the United States, from
right.
cold to hot, from water to mountain elevation. I mean, there's so much variety there. So it is really interesting to me. All right,
Well,
so yeah,
I was just going to add it's culture too.
yeah,
In
culture.
fact, if
Mhm.
you yeah, you think of going to Scandinavia, if you go into Minnesota, North or South Dakota, they keep many of the old traditions
Right.
that
Hmm.
they have done away with in the old country.
Very
Many of
true.
their Christmas traditions and holiday traditions that you will find there. Go to the Cajuns in Louisiana if
Yes.
you want to have an interesting experience,
Hmm.
especially with the way they talk.
Oh yeah. Louisiana is fantastic. I mean, I love like New Orleans as an example.
Oh
I
gosh,
mean, the
yes.
food is just, outer worldly,
Yes.
for me anyway. I mean, you give me a shrimp etouffee and I am on cloud nine, because it's just so delicious. They really know how to cook. And so that's what I
They
like. And the
really do.
seafood there is
Mhm.
better than you'd get anywhere else. Really, really good stuff. So yeah, you can explore all kinds of great places right here in the good old USA,
That's exactly
and
right.
yeah, there's unlimited amounts of places you can go. Trust me, because I've been to
From
most of
Chinatowns to Italian
them.
land or wherever you want to, and many of these, and I always encourage them, and I really admire them for being able.
Yeah.
They they acclimate to our laws and so forth, but still they keep many of their traditions,
Hmm.
and I think
Mhm.
that is wonderful.
Yeah, I think that is great. Actually, in June, I'm meeting up with some of my friends from college, and we're going to go to San Diego because we want to see a baseball game between their favorite team, the New York Mets, and the San Diego Padres. But we're staying in Little Italy, there
Uh-huh.
in San Diego. So, I mean, we're going to have great food, great restaurants, and a little bit of the culture that I'm missing living in Nashville, Tennessee. So it's great. It really, really is great. Now, you guys are obviously a mother-daughter duo, which I think is so cool when you travel together. What advice would you give students about traveling with their parents or maybe their grandparents or even their brothers and sisters?
I would say don't go with an attitude. And the reason why I say that, because I know that I have friends will say, oh, I gotta go with my family to so and so. Don't enjoy that. But then I will tell you, I have even more people, more friends of mine call me and say, you know what? You're so blessed to still, to have your mother and
Yeah,
to be able to share those very limited times that we have on earth here.
yeah,
And so, first of all, just kind of go away with that attitude and just enjoy the time together and learn how to enjoy each other. And then you will learn more about each other.
I think she and I also have ways of doing things that
Mhm.
are different, and I
Mhm.
accept that. Uh, I like the culture museum types of things, and she likes exploring. But we compromise, and we do little bits of each thing to enjoy it. So
Mhm.
I think being able to compromise and to especially appreciate what they are thinking too.
yeah.
So that's important.
Well, that's wonderful. I'm just so happy that you guys have each other. I hope you take a minute to just appreciate that. I lost my dad in December, and so now when I want to talk about traveling the world, I got to go and read his book. I can't call him up and ask him questions about where should I go to when I visit so and so country. So just I think it's wonderful what you're doing. I think it's really inspirational, and I hope that more people are going to take the time to go and travel together like you two have. I think it's really just a wonderful blessing for both of you, and I think that's great. Now, for the college students who are listening right now, let's say they want to take their first adventure this year. Many of them have never even traveled outside of their own state, let alone outside of the country. So, what do you think is the first step a college student should take if they want to plan their first adventure?
Plan and start small.
Mhm.
Don't make it too big and too cumbersome that it will overwhelm you. Do a lot of research, and fortunately, you have the tools now online
It's a lot
that you
easier.
can
Mhm.
use and use GPT
Or any
or
other.
any of the others and find different a lot of information. Yeah.
Yeah, you bring up a great point, Evelyn. I think using ChatGPT is great if you need somebody to plan an agenda or at least start as a foundation of an agenda in some other state that you're going to visit. Type it into ChatGPT. Let them know the types of things that you're interested in, museums or going hiking, whatever it is that you're into, and say you're going to visit this place. Come up with an agenda over 3 days on things that I can do or things that I can see.
And they will do that. I
Oh,
know
yeah.
that she and I are going to from here to Columbia, South Carolina, to a meeting.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Hmm.
And we put that in, and they said, if you want the scenic route, here's the way to go. If you want to go on the interstate, here's the way to go. But here's somebody's mama's pie shop
Yeah,
in
that's,
Augusta
and
or
we want to
something like
see
that.
it. We want to
Everybody
go
goes to
there.
mama's pie shop.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, a lot of really cool tools to help you plan and make sure that you're budgeting enough time in each place. So I think that is
Right.
fantastic. All right, so where can students go to learn more about your brand new book? It's called Have a Love Affair with the USA. Where can they go to learn more about the book, buy the book, and keep up with your travels all over the globe?
They can go to Amazon. It's on Amazon now. In fact, it was just released a week ago. So you can go on Amazon. Also, it'll be available in Barnes and Nobles as well. We do have a website, and it's travelersatheart.com. So it's all one word, travelers at heart, because that's what we are, travelersatheart.com. And you can learn more about us there.
And what we do, we have one section that we would especially like for your students to look at, which is the one on, well, do you call it passport? Is that what you call it? But she goes through everything
Yeah.
from deciding what kind of traveler you are.
Yeah,
It's a
What, yeah,
quiz.
it's a
It's a
quiz.
quiz. Mhm.
And from there, it tells you what types of things that you
Yeah.
could do. But we go through, I think it's probably about 50 pages of our book.
But it's
So,
it's very helpful if you like to be a if you have the finances and you want to do luxury type of travel and you answer questions certain way, then there's things that you can do, and I outline all that. Or if you're on a budget, there's certain things you can do, and I can outline that. Or if you want to take your pet, or if you want to take, if you're going to be with your family. So there's all sorts of different unique ways of traveling. It's just your unique travel style that we can determine after you respond to this quiz.
that is fantastic. All
Yeah.
right, so our audience has some homework. All right, you're going to have to find out your style, your
so
traveler style.
yeah,
Natalie has
this is
put
the
in a
way
whole
it
quiz
looks.
in the book. Go buy the book. It's called Have a Love Affair with the USA. Pick it up on Amazon. You're going to take Natalie's quiz to find out what kind of a traveler you are. And I tell you what, Dr. Evelyn and Natalie, you two are just a force. Just know that I'm really proud of you. I'm cheering you on for all of your travels around the USA and all over the globe. Continue the great work together. It's super inspirational. So thank you
Thank you
for
Thank
so
sharing that
you.
story.
much. We love your podcast. Thank you.
Of course, it's our pleasure. And to all the college students who are listening right now, if you learned something from Dr. Evelyn and Natalie, I want you to share this episode with your fraternity or sorority chapter. Just drop it in a group chat, share it on social media. You really never know who from your friends needs to hear their message today. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you on the next episode of the Fraternity Foodie Podcast. Bye for now.